welcome to another episode of Impact Wrestling. And I know if you see the title of this video, because I'm sure I have the title set and locked down, you're probably not going to be happy about it. But let's go through the rest of this and I will explain why I left the title as it is. Alright, Tasha Steele versus Nevada. Now, I'm very interested in seeing how far they're going to go with Havoc and Navarra. And the question is going to be, where are they going with Navarra? Hell, where are they going with Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steele? What are they exactly going to gain in this situation? Because they're not going to the main title scene. They don't have any tag titles. But I don't see a consequence for what is going on with these two tag teams. It's just throwing them together and giving them a feud, but with no benefits, no stipulation, no costs, nothing yet. Maybe before we get Slammiversary, we will get that. But as it stands right now, I just don't see it. And it was Tasha Steele who won. No, was it? Yeah, it was Tasha Steele who won it because of a distraction. And Navarra supposedly had been a 15-year veteran who has done tags with people, acted like a brainless, easily distracted face. I wouldn't have liked her to be rolled up that way. It's always a standby, and I never agree with it. I don't care if you're male or female, it just sucks. It just sucks. Now, Bust Open Radio had a segment on Impact Wrestling that had the Tommy Dreamer on it. And I forgot who else was on there. It was Tommy Dreamer and the other guy who usually does the Busted Open Radio with him, along with Bully Ray. I believe Bully Ray still does it. I don't know. I haven't watched it in quite a long time. But they had Deanna Purrazzo on there. Then they had the Jordan Grace on there, and they had their little going back and forth. And I'm not going to say exactly what they said. You'll be able to see the segment yourself. But I'll say this, what I felt about it. It was actually pretty good. Purrazzo does a good job of hyping herself up and then, to a certain extent, make Grace look a bit alright. But I'm not saying it was greatly done. I am interested in seeing where they're going to go with this. But I'm not exactly sure how far they're going to push it. Now, what does that mean? It means simply, with Jordan Grace, she has barely been on TV because of the situation with the pandemic. And before the pandemic, she did not have a signature moment when she won the damn title from a Taya Valkyrie. So that doesn't help her either way. She just feels like she's just there. And I don't like that, because actually, next to Taya, Jordan's the one I like pretty much the most. I like Jordan and I like Taya. They both are very good in the work they both do. But essentially speaking, it feels like she's just hasn't done anything. And for me, I hope they do something by Slammiversary. They make it mean something. But you never know. Now, we had the North. And then Shamrock. And then supposedly a match. But then no match because Shamrock got his ass whooped by the North. Now let me break it down. The North were talking, saying how come Shamrock gets all this clout and we're considered the best tag team there is. What the hell is this? It's not fair. Then he approaches them and says, why don't you shut your damn mouth? I earned it. And then Josh Alexander said, you know what? I'm going to shut your mouth. Let's get in the ring. And and a line I haven't heard in a long time that Shamrock said, he said, okay, no problem. I'm your Dinkleberry. I haven't heard something like that in a long time. And that's well before my time. So when they went to the ring, well, once the Shamrock went to the ring, he got his ass handed to him by both Ethan and Josh. Wiped him out. Never got in the ring. So that does mean they're going to be doing something. But the question is, will it be a stipulation match? And I'm hoping they're setting this up for Slammiversary, not something before. They need to start building the Slammiversary, so having Shamrock maybe do a handicap match or some type of submission match or something would really help the show. That's just me, you guys tell me below. Moose had a segment talking to several refs who really didn't want to be there. And then Crazy Steve comes out saying that who the hell you are, you ain't no champ. And he started singing it. And pretty much, you get next week a match between Moose and Crazy Steve, a TNA original. I'm alright with this, but the question's going to be is this. What does Moose really gain by this? I know people are happy to see the TNA title being used, but I'm saying it in disrespect. Look, guys, I like Moose. I love Moose. But what is Moose really doing here? This is a nostalgia thing. Does not mean it leads anywhere. I'm hoping it does, but it doesn't look like it's leading anywhere. And the key of this situation, by Slammiversary, this could be all over. Moose will end the reign, drop the title to somebody, or they will drop his storyline or his arc that he was a champion, and then the TNA title will just go back in irrelevancy. Do you guys want that? I don't. I was hoping they would have used that title to try and do something unique. Maybe have the old TNA title deal with the Impact title, both holders deal with one another. That's what I was hoping for, and I know you're not going to get it. I'm not going to get it. So where they going with Moose? You guys tell me below. Now, we had... Let me give it to you like this when it came to Diana Taurasi, the Avosa, I'm missing out. I think the reason I'm botching when it came to the Virtuosa versus Alyssa Edwards, it didn't need to happen. You could have essentially done what happened to Shamrock to Alyssa Edwards, getting her ass whooped, and then Jordynne Grace coming out, and then you could have had the segment afterward. The match itself wasn't that great. Not because Jordynne Grace came in too soon, or that Alyssa Edwards, well, Alyssa is not one of the greatest wrestlers, so I think that's what the problem was. Purrazzo did a great job, but Alyssa is an average wrestler. She's not an incredibly great one, and I'm not joshing at her. I'm not being disrespectful to it. She's just not a great wrestler. She's a good to okay wrestler, and I think that's what brought the match down for me personally. And I just felt like by the time she tapped out, you didn't even need to have the match. You could have had her just gotten the arm bar, and then Jordynne Grace came out, and then that would have been the end of it. She attacked. See, it could have been the same thing when it came to Shamrock in the North, and then you could have had her come out and defend her, and that is Alyssa Edwards. It would have been all right. Now, you had Taya Valkyrie versus Suzy. Now, we have not seen anything of the supposedly triangle of the Taya Valkyrie, of the Rosemary, and the Johnny Bravo. Yes, Madison Rayne did kind of hint to it a little bit, but we needed a Rosemary there to continue doing it. Now, understand you can skip a couple of weeks, and for me personally, I understand why they did it, but we really haven't seen much interaction of when it came to Johnny Bravo, really showing that he's kind of confused of who he wants to really be around more, and that Rosemary is beginning to get ahead. So there you go. The match is fine, and in the end you got the Kylie Rae coming out defending her friend and super kicking a Taya Valkyrie in the face and wiping her out. I don't agree with that, but I can understand why they did it. I'd rather see Taya strong. I'd rather see that she avoided the super kick and that the Kylie Rae did not really get a good piece of her. That would have been better. Or better yet, because Kylie Rae is dealing with Suzy, I wanted to see a little bit of Su Yung showing herself. I wanted to see that Su Yung started to show a little bit of herself, and when Kylie came out, she noticed, And then we can figure out if Kylie is willing to deal with Su Yung, or is she going to be afraid of Su Yung? I would say this, when it comes to Kylie dealing with Su Yung, I would say that Su Yung likes Kylie and would not harm her. She'll harm everyone around her but her. And Kylie understood it, and she likes her. So you can turn Su Yung into a face, Suzy stays a face, Su Yung stays a face, Kylie sees how evil she could be, but they all stay friends. Suzy, Su Yung, and Kylie Ray. This is just me. You guys tell me below. Chris Bay. And the multiple tries of getting... Look, Swinger tried to get Rick Swan. Could not get him. He tried to get Hernandez. Could not get him. He tried to get Valkyrie. Could not get her. So he finally relied on Raju, which I don't agree with, because they're doing nothing with Raju. It's like you traded the Dempsey Hit Squad for him being random and working with anybody. And I just don't agree with it. I wanted to see him more serious. I wanted to see him actually go for the X Division. They do something with him, and it looks like they're not going to do anything. And that's just boring, and it's sad. But this is what we got. Once Willie and the Deaners came in, and that match between the Bay, the Swinger, and the Raju, it was an okay match. It wasn't like it was groundbreaking. It was okay. In the end, you got Chris Bay actually getting the win over a Willie Mack, which hopefully will lead him to going into Slammiversary, not have a match beforehand. Because if they're not going to do anything with, well, unless they are going to do something with a Willie Mack on Slammiversary, I'm hoping they will just stretch this until Slammiversary. It's like 25 days left. So it's kind of hard to say, but you guys tell me below. Final match. If I'm forgetting something, I'm sorry. Madman Fulton versus Eddie Edwards. A clean match. No real general interference by the Ace Austin. And you got the Madman winning and giving a little edge to an Ace Austin. Wondering, is he going to be able to be the youngest Impact World Heavyweight Champion in history with that Fatal 5-Way? Well, not anymore, of course, because Elgin is suspended. But we'll find out eventually. And the final thing, which is the title, Please No. You see Dino Brown, and there was a segment with Dino Brown dealing with the Reno Scum, and then Reno Scum had to deal with TJ Perkins and Falaba, and next week they're going to have a match. But Dino felt like he's being treated like dirt because he's just there, and everybody just thinks he's a stooge. But at the very end of the show, you see Dilo on his laptop, and he's talking to someone and says, look, I've always done the right thing, but I'm sick and tired of this type of thing. I think it's time to get the band back together, and we get this image in my face. Unfortunately, my background messed up the top. You could see a little bit of my desktop, unfortunately. Aces and eights. Aces and eights. Really? Now, I know people, I'm sure more than a few of my subscribers are like, yes, they're going to bring back Aces and Eights because Luke Gallows was part of Aces and Eights. Maybe they'll do Carl Anderson. Yes, he was a part. If he wasn't a part of Aces and Eights, he could be a part. And you got Dino Brown, and you can bring other people in. No. 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 Look, was Aces and Eights good at one point? Hell yes, it was. But they went way too far with it, and they ruined the entire gimmick when they stretched it way too long. And it was all due to politics in the back. Now, when it comes to this situation, where instead of you doing something with Trey, Wentz, and Dez, you do nothing. You have Madman Fulton being the one pointing to this situation, where he's the one who kept taking out Trey. So, if it is that, because as far as I can tell, Trey did not get betrayed by a Wentz or a Dez, where you could do something new. Instead of pulling something new out of your hat, Impact Wrestling, you now have gone into the old cookie jar with an old moldy cookie called Aces and Eights. A little tease of it where they may just go back to it. And I say no. Not that they couldn't probably pull something off good, but I want to see something new from Impact. One of the major problems that Impact Wrestling and WWE is having at this moment is that the writing teams suck. When it came to Tessa Blanchard, no matter how much people want to say that it was incredible, the rise for her was done badly. It wasn't believable. She wasn't a Chyna, and she wasn't a Daniel Bryan. A man and a woman. She was neither one of them. She didn't have the underdog feel of a Daniel Bryan. She didn't even come close to it. They made it about women. And she didn't have the Chyna build. She was all about herself. All about it. And she didn't have a faction behind her. So her rise was bad. Bad. Now, I don't have a problem with a woman being a champion as long as you make it believable. And it wasn't. It was done poorly. And now, they're thinking about possibly and probably going to do an Aces and Eights angle either at Slammiversary, because they got a month to build into it nearly, and afterward. And using people that used to be in Aces and Eights, and maybe some that never were, from WWE who got fired. Maybe Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows former Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, will come to Impact Wrestling and will work the Aces and Eights gimmick with anyone else they believe will be there. Now, of course, there's a good possibility EC3 will be back and maybe he'll be a part of it. That's if they do that and have him back. We don't know. As far as I know, there's a good chance that EC3 will show up at Slammiversary, or Eli, Eric Young, could be the one that's going to be doing this, because you never know, next week you could actually hear Eli's music, because he was a former world champion too. You never know. Hell, James Storm could come back. Even though they did an EC3 music, you may actually hear an Eli's music or a James Storm music. You never know what they may try and pull before Slammiversary. But when it comes to Aces and Eights, I do not agree with this, because they should be doing something different. They should be doing something fresh and new to give people that is on Access TV something new and special. And if they make Aces and Eights a cornerstone of this situation with Slammiversary and going forward, I promise you it's going to fall on his face, because always when it came to that gimmick, it was about politics. Was the story good at one point? Hell yes, but it's still about politics. And that's the reason why it became a nuisance and a plague by the time it ended. They dragged it out way too long, and it sucked. It hurt Bully Ray, it hurt D'Lo Brown, it hurt Devon, it hurt Luke, it hurt everyone who is connected to it. It made them all look like crap. But this is just me. You guys tell me below. Have a good day, have a good night, and watch for my AEW review. Peace.